you guys. Welcome back to the Lauren of Love podcast. As we are kind of gearing into our closing episodes because we are launching our new show, The World Needs Your Medicine, I felt like I wanted to really bring you some special content. So in today's show, I'm interviewing my husband. Now, some things to note if you're listening to this show on iTunes or on Spotify, the audio transitions halfway through. I realized things were not properly set up. My dogs interrupt us and we get very distracted by the camera. But in this show, we're talking about a lot of different important topics based on some of the questions that you guys sent through on the Instagram at Lauren of Love. And it's a really, really beautiful dialogue. We're exploring the concepts of spirituality and entrepreneurship and being in partnership, building a business, and handling hard times. So if any of those topics resonate with you, stick around. This episode is going to be for you. So excited to share it with you guys. Have fun and don't be afraid to listen to it with your partner. It's a good one. Here we go. It's happening. Okay, let's get cozy because I want us to feel like we're just having a conversation. I don't want it to feel like we're like putting on a show.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But I'm not wearing a bra. So
That's relevant.
it's very relevant. Let's make it work. I think I need a little bit more blanket. Okay. So I want to start with like a very important question.
Mhm.
Can you make the chicken thighs that are in the fridge for me today?
Smoke them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. How long is this gonna take?
This will probably be an hour and then I have another
Yeah,
call.
they won't be smoked the way I normally do them, but I could do it.
That's fine. Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, you ready for this juicy podcast episode? Look, we have like this looks nice.
It's cozy.
Video and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is your first time like being in here with me.
Second time.
You weren't in here with me. You were like
Last night.
last night when we did our interview. Okay, so for context, guys, just so everybody knows listening, Matt and I are starting to hold space to invite in students to mentor together because he's already been doing this for my one-on-one clients, but we've explored the possibility of releasing these new offerings. So our mentorship actually is available in my bio, which is really exciting. And I think it's cool because he plays such a big role in the business, which we'll talk about in our show today too, and just share some business perspectives. We have a field of questions, by the way.
Okay.
So
I feel like this camera makes my pants look really tight on my thighs.
it does.
It does,
makes
right?
my hair look a little weird too, but that's okay. Yeah, so how do you feel about this thing happening, the podcast? Like we're recording this conversation. Do you feel open? Do you feel nervous? Do you feel you're just grounded in yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think I go through emotions because I'm like, I want you to feel comfortable, and we always get the same questions, right?
We do always get questions. Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna repeat ourselves. Yeah, the questions of like,
But what we'll do is we'll answer them differently than we have in the past. And some eagle-eyed listener will bring it up.
well, this isn't true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, the common questions we get asked a lot are rooted in like, how do you handle somebody in your relationship that's not spiritual like you? And what's the other one? You hate this one. What's it like being married?
Yeah.
What's it like being married to Lauren? That's always a really an eye roll question. Why does it make you eye roll?
How do you feel being married to your spouse?
Yeah.
What's you? There's nothing unique about our situation in the slightest.
Yeah.
From a relationship perspective, there's nothing unique about it. So it's just like,
Yeah. I mean, our relationship is actually quite relatable to a lot of people, which I find fascinating because for a long time you didn't want to show up on social media at all. Like you
well,
were,
I still don't want to.
yeah, but you've adjusted, and we should talk about that too. Like you were very against any form of being on the platform because you really value your privacy.
Yeah.
but over time you got more comfortable and actually welcomed it in a new way, in my experience anyway. What made you change your mind and want to start
No,
doing stuff?
my mind hasn't changed.
Oh,
Really.
you still hate it.
Yes, I still don't like it.
Okay. Yeah, but you have fun. We have fun when we do our reels. They're really fun to make with you.
Sure. Yeah, no, yeah, they're fun and enjoyable to make.
Mm.
But you also don't have to make a reel to have fun like that. Like
I
it's
know.
a totally unnecessary step if that's like the goal is to have fun together. Like we don't have to have social media to have fun.
That's very true. Matt doesn't have social media at all, you guys.
Yeah.
He has my account logged in so he could track our data
Yeah.
for the business, but like that's it. And Matt plays a lot, he plays a big role in our content creation strategy and the way that we show up on social media too, which we'll probably talk about. But yeah, I just think like there's a lot of performance in the world of social media in terms of relationships on the internet. And what do you say? Yeah, we try to be like more real and honest about like our uniqueness and how we're different. But something I saw on social media recently that I really resonated with, it was a post about how you should stop trying to find a spiritual partner to instead focus on finding somebody who has the same values as you.
Yeah.
And I think that really resonated with me because while we're very different, we have the same values.
Mm-hmm.
And we really focus on building a life from that root of those values.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll definitely talk about the differences in partnership and personality and such. But, for us, I think it's been a really big journey of like learning to respect each other and learning how to embrace our individuality. So we'll cover that too. But
Okay.
maybe we should start with a little bit of a share of like this really funny question I got in my DMs. It was, how did you guys meet? Like, can you tell the story of how you first met? I was like, finally a cool story. This is great. So I want to tell that story to like introduce us. And my dogs are probably gonna bark and growl during this interview, just FYI. But can you want to share? Do you want me to share?
You could share. I'll chime in whenever you want.
Okay. Well, I was wanting to start a blog because I was watching Sex in the City and I really liked that she was like a writer and she would sit at her computer and like tell these stories. And I decided I wanted to enter the dating world again after being divorced and starting my life over at the age of like 23. And so I made a blog and I decided to go on Match.com so that I could go on dates and blog about it. And that was like what I wanted to do. And I remember I would get all these messages from people of like dudes being like, "You so hot. I like that ass." Like the conversations that I was getting in my DMs were just awful. And then Matt sent me a message. Do you remember what you said?
Not really, but I know it's very Matt-esque.
It was
like
it was very Matt-esque. It was I don't really know what to say on these things, but I really like your hair and you have cool tattoos. Like that was it. It was just like
there's probably more to it than that, but I don't really remember.
yeah, I have it saved because I made that little book of
Oh, look, you just did a hand gesture.
oh wait, I have to get it to wait, don't no, don't do that. I have so if you guys are watching on video. If not, we have this camera that just likes to move. It's a little bit annoying.
Well, can't you like
Stop. Don't make it move. Okay, wait. Hold on.
I was just trying to realign it.
Okay, can we just let it go where it goes? Because this is going to be very distracting. Okay, do no hand gestures anymore. Stop.
I was just copying you.
Okay, so Matt liked my hair, Matt liked my tattoos. I worked at CBS News and I was terrified of the Craigslist killer concept that like he was going to take me out on a date and then murder me behind some back alley in Manhattan. So my job was really cool. Like I worked for television news and I had all these really cool things to show him. So I made the idea I proposed the idea. I was like, why don't you come and like meet me at my job and I'll give you a really cool tour. And the only reason I did that,
Well, we didn't actually meet at your job.
no, we met in the street,
Yeah,
but then we walked to my job.
not right away.
We didn't?
No.
Okay, we're getting this. I don't remember the story.
Yeah, so we met at Columbus Circle.
Yeah, I remember that because you got me the cute
The
puzzle.
puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we met at Columbus Circle and
Mhm.
then we went out for lunch.
Mhm.
And then it was during lunch, you said, would you like to see where I work? And I said, yeah.
Yeah, and so my plan was that as the night was starting to get darker, because evening happens, I was like, I'll take you to my job and I'll give you a tour. But the only reason I did that was because they take and scan your driver's license at the front desk. So if anything bad happened to me, we were on security cameras, they had your information, and I felt so good about that. And that was our first date, and the rest is just kind of history. But you picked the day because there was a car show in the city.
I don't know. I wouldn't say I picked the day because of that, but the New York Auto Show was going on. And if it was a bad date, I was just going to hang out in the city and go
Yeah,
to
so
the New York Auto Show.
he had a alternative in his back pocket.
Absolutely.
Very
Why not?
practical man.
Taking the train into the city, like if I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to, I'm traveling, it's like 2 hours there or something.
Mm.
Like if I'm gonna go all the way to the city,
Mhm.
I gotta make the best of it.
Yeah, so we started dating and then we were like a year into our relationship living together when I decided I wanted to start a business, right? We were just about on our year anniversary, or maybe a little bit even sooner.
No, it wouldn't be sooner. But yeah, year, 2 years, something like
How
that.
did you
No,
feel?
yeah, because so year and a half is what I want to say.
Okay, but we were living together for a very short amount of time, and we were both responsible for paying bills. How did you feel about the fact? I've never asked you that. How did you feel about the fact that I was just like, I'm done with responsibilities. I'm gonna try to build a business. Like, did that bring anything up for you?
No,
You didn't feel nervous?
no, because you can. So, I mean, out of context, it sounds like I'm the fucking lunatic, but but like we. So part of what drove it was our the lease on our apartment was up,
The lease on our apartment was up. Mhm.
right? And my parents said, "Yeah, you could come live with us, while this is all going on." So like financially, the burden and everything is like
Mhm.
not that bad. Let's be honest. If you're living at home, like we did pay, I don't know what we paid. I think we paid my parents like $500 a month.
Yeah, it was really affordable.
Yeah, but
Great rent.
it's $500 a month with home cooked meals.
They had all the food
and,
covered.
like,
Yeah,
yeah. Like
we had it easy.
we're not paying electricity or anything. Like it was super easy. So like that burden of feeling like, oh my God, I have to carry this is like
Mhm.
it's not quite
But
the same.
we also had a lot of conversations before we actually did it, and we came to an agreement and a structure.
Yeah, we had some. I mean, I would say if we didn't go move into my parents' place, I would have been like, no, this is crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not crazy just because like, okay, you have a wild dream and you want to explore. It's crazy because like literally I cannot afford to sustain us. Like I
Mhm.
cannot afford to sustain us. Our apartment in New Rochelle, like that was almost my whole paycheck went to living together. Like,
Yeah.
I had like literally no money.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the fact that like work was paying for my gas, I didn't even I used the company car. If it wasn't for that, I would have died. Even when you were still working,
Yeah. Well, I remember you said something to me like, okay, well, let me just preface this for everybody listening. There's like a lot of language to describe Matt that I kind of started in my content where we say Matt's not really spiritual. Matt's not really a spiritual guy, but I don't we'll talk about that. Like that's totally not accurate. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because early on in our relationship, he would say things to me every once in a while that would make my brain go, whoa, I'm hearing that on a soul level. I'm hearing a translation of what he's saying. And there are certain things he said to me in that year that really stuck with me. One of them was, when would now be a good time? And like the way that you worded it wasn't directly that, but what you did say is it's only going to get harder. You're only going to have more excuses to not do this. This is even though you have responsibilities, you're only going to get more responsibilities as you age. So like now is really the time to pursue this, and I remember feeling like just a resonance of that in my body. And then a year later, when we were in our house, you did it again where you said something, you were like, well, I hope this is your breakthrough year. Do you remember that?
No, but you bring it up a lot, but I don't really remember it.
Yeah, it was a really profound moment for me because behind your back, I hired a coach and I hadn't told you,
Yeah.
right? I hired my first coach behind not a good idea. Don't suggest it. Don't recommend. But I did that and I turned to him after I signed the contract, which said breakthrough year on the top of the contract. I turned to him, I said, just want to let you know I'm going to make six figures in my business this year. And he said, well, good. I hope it's your breakthrough year. And I was like, oh, shit, you are a spiritual being. You are guiding me with your words. Um, how do you feel about the fact that people say you're not a spiritual being?
No, I don't care.
You don't care how you're perceived.
No.
You're really like just yourself.
Why should I care?
Yeah. What did you say to the girls on the call when we were teaching them on the pivot class? What did you say in answer to this question when somebody asked you, like, well, they asked me really, like, how do you handle your partner not being a spiritual person? Like, I really liked what you said, and I would like you to repeat it.
Oh, you'll have to play it again because I don't remember exactly what.
Okay, so I'll just ask you, like, how do I feel about the fact that you're not a spiritual person? So someone will,
Questions towards you. So,
oh, like,
so did you answer
no,
it or did I?
you answered it so well. It was great because I turned to you and was like, what do you think about that?
Yeah,
And then you said something really good. So can we recreate it for the purposes of this podcast?
sure. I mean, I don't know. I feel like the
Show
the
it off.
moment passed and the moment was yesterday
I
because
know,
I
but it's
don't
so good.
remember really what you're talking about,
Mm,
or certainly at least what I said.
okay. So I think I answered this question basically by saying we are both spiritual people, but we speak different languages and we are essentially saying the same thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah, I think it's just starting off with the wrong question towards it,
Probably.
and maybe that's what's confusing me.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know how do we want to talk about this. Spirituality is such a funny thing. So spirituality is supposed to be it's individual, right? It's totally from an individual's perspective. And I'm pretty positive I didn't say this yesterday, but I feel like it's almost like humility.
Mm,
We're like, but almost in the opposite sense. So like it's getting closer and closer to me. It really likes what I'm saying, I guess. But
the
like,
camera.
yeah. But it's like with humility, like one of the least humble things you could do is to say, I am so humble. Like
Mm,
that's like the complete opposite,
mm,
right? You don't get to call yourself humble. Others get to call you humble. You
right.
live a life of
Like if you have to
humble.
say it.
Yeah, and like spirituality is almost like the exact opposite, I feel like. I could call myself spiritual because it's very much an individual thing and I'm relating to it the way I'm relating to it.
Mm,
For someone else to say you're not spiritual, okay, how? Why?
mm,
Like would you say, I mean, I don't want to bring religion into it, but we will. Do you think like a a priest is gonna go to a rabbi and say, you're not religious
mm.
because they have a different look on the or view on the world? Like, no.
different
It's
practices,
just, it's
different
different.
rituals,
Yeah.
different belief systems.
And so just because something
Yeah.
doesn't line up with the way that you would practice, it doesn't suddenly make someone not spiritual,
Mm,
you know? And I feel like this whole industry in this field has like a really bad gatekeeping policy around it.
hmm
Like you are only spiritual if you do these things and you believe these things. And I think that that's bad.
It's really bad.
You know, I don't know how to
It's
say,
really
yeah,
bad.
I don't think it's a good, honest look for the spiritual community as a whole when it gets gate kept.
I'm gonna check the audio because I'm on the right setting because I am not on the right setting. Oh my God. Okay, so wait. Microphone. We're gonna switch here and hopefully the audio gets better.
Okay, I thought you were gonna fix the camera too.
I can't fix the camera. I'm just gonna let it do what
But
it
what if we
does.
do this?
If you put your hand up, it just gets really weird. Yeah.
What is it actually supposed to do with the hand? I
Well,
could
if
this could
you,
be the
this
podcast.
is Matt's ADHD, everybody. Like he's trying to figure out how to work this automatically moving camera that's my
Like it's
webcam.
it's weird when you're well, I just saw you do this.
Spirituality, everybody.
I saw you do it, so I was just
You look
copying your
ridiculous.
motion. I
Okay, maybe we don't get distracted by that though, and we stay present with the conversation is just an idea.
That's a good one.
Okay, so spirituality, it's an individualized experience, and what you're saying is that in this world of online content creation and spiritual marketing, right? There's like a lot of dogma. And in the plant medicine community too, there's a lot of dogma.
Yeah.
You have to be doing things a certain way. Why do you think that is though? Because people are in their ego and they're
Why
trying,
do I think that is?
yeah.
I I don't really know. I think it's probably like a very much like an individual basis.
Mm,
I think a large part of it is people, this is just totally my guess, my interpretation of it. Uh, People have started to follow a path of following someone in particular.
mm,
And that was their measure for what spirituality was. Maybe they were very religious before
like
and
cults.
not like cults. And you know, they started following this other belief system or whatever. And so to them, that was their first entrance to it, and that is just now how they perceive it to be.
Mm.
And so they apply that to everyone.
I don't think it's a naivete approach where people are just like, oh, this is just what I believe, and I guess it's true because I was told. I think there is,
I'm not saying that either, so
okay, what are you saying?
that okay, so
Tell me more.
let's put
Use me as an example.
I know I won't use you. But let's say like I don't know, you're an alien, you came to this planet, you have no knowledge of religion at all. We're going to use religion for this, right?
Mhm.
And you went to a Southern Baptist priest and you learn that that's how ceremonies are done, right? The church services and the way you talk to people and everything. Like you that's the way you learn. And they said this is Christianity.
I'm an alien at a Baptist
And so
church.
you
Right.
as an alien now, that's what Christianity is to you. Now Christianity
Mhm.
is immense,
Mhm.
and the way people practice it are immense, right? And this is even a true statement, even within the Christian belief structure right now, I would say. And then you went from a Southern Baptist church to I have no idea.
Listen,
Protestant,
sure.
and like they're practicing the same thing,
hmm
but how they're doing it is so wildly different.
hmm
And instead of being like, I- that's not that would not be this alien's understanding of what this is. And so they would be saying, this is not Christianity. This
hmm
is something different.
Well, I think to be fair, majority of the world is operating in this example like an alien. Like there are a lot of people who do that.
Everyone does it.
Everyone does it. They get very attached to the way that they do things and then they want to make it right. But I think the reason that that's happening is because we're trying to find validation in the unseen. right? If I have a practice that, I'm channeling my ancestors and I'm working with feathers and I feel the spirit of the hawk, in order for me to support the belief that that's actually what's happening, I'm working with the spirit of the hawk and I'm channeling my ancestors. I need 47 people around me to do it and believe it too, so that I can support my own belief. And that's how a lot of the world is operating,
Yeah, but
you
that but
know?
that's
And
that's
that doesn't
that's
make it right.
different than telling someone that their spiritual belief makes them not spiritual.
Correct. But when you live with somebody and you're trying to cultivate, at least in my experience, you're trying to cultivate this essence of understanding in your spiritual connection and also this truth in the relation you have to spirituality, whatever it may be. When you're sharing your life with somebody, you want, from the ego, you want that validation. You want that partner to like lean in with you and do those things
So
with you
you
and
think it's the
experience
ego?
those things with you.
Is that what?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think it's the ego because if I look at my life, like when I came home from my year-long stay in Sedona, and not everybody knows this, but there was a period of time where I went away for a year to go study ayahuasca in Sedona with plant teachers because I was sick with chronic illness. And Matt and I were apart. And when I came back home and I was trying to integrate that, I wanted to be able to like sing my songs and channel with my drum and work my feathers and sage myself. But my ego, this part of me that doesn't necessarily feel safe to be different and wants to be validated and wants to be seen and recognized, that part of me tried to rope you in.
Yeah.
And so what I did was I wronged all of your experiences so that I could somehow force you to have mine, so that I could feel safe in my experiences. And I think that's what a lot of women do when they're in their spiritual awakening because they want to be seen and validated and witnessed from their partner, of course, right? Like that's a reasonable thing. But deep down, they're actually afraid of just being who they are, right? If I'm fully embracing who I am, I don't give a shit what you're doing,
Hmm.
right? I don't care. Like I am who I am. And that took me quite a while to cultivate. I would say I still have challenges from time to time, but it's really, I think the reason that I have a partner that is so different than me is because I'm meant to find my empowerment as an individual. I'm not meant to be a group thinker with you, like, oh, I'm safe now. I don't know. These are my thoughts. I wonder what you have to say about this.
No, I mean I think everything that you said is very accurate, certainly from your perspective or the
Yeah.
way you've lived it, it's very accurate. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to relate to it as well. I think it's complex. I think there's more
Mhm.
than one reason why gatekeeping occurs.
Mm.
I agree, ego is going to be a big part of it for whatever reason. Uh, yeah. I mean, you go into psychology of it, of like you talk about the group thinking of group thought,
Mm.
feeling like you belong in a thing, and like the best way to do that is to make your thing distinguishable.
Yeah, and different and
Yeah.
individualized. Yeah.
And so, like, I think that that's all true. And think, and this is my opinion, that the more, I won't even say spiritual, but the more comfortable people become with themselves, the more comfortable they become with others. Like,
Mm.
and so I think that as people become in the industry, people and we know, as they get more they grow within themselves more, they become more understanding, more compassionate of other people's beliefs, thoughts, and
Mhm.
feelings and everything.
Yeah.
So I have no idea.
Well,
It is such a can of worms.
you said something. There are a few things that are like coming up for me as you're talking. You said something to me like where you were like, I don't think you know who you are.
Yeah.
And I remember that, and I took that so personally. I was like, "Oh my
Yeah.
God, how dare you?" This is like, okay, wait, just funny story. So Stephanie, Stephanie, she asked Luke, she's like, if I had a job, like if I did something totally different, like what would you think I would do? And he was like, I could see you owning a restaurant. And
Hmm.
she got so pissed. She was like, what do you think of me? Like she just got so angry because yeah, we want to be seen by our partner and our like spiritual essence and our magnetism. And, there's this like period of my time where like I wanted Matt to sit with ayahuasca so badly. So he could see me in my channel and he could see me in my gifts and he could see me in my medicine. And I remember you came and when you left, and I asked you how you saw me, you were like, yeah, same. Like nothing's changed. I was like, that was really eye-opening for me. But when you told me that I didn't know who I was, right? And the thing that you're saying now that I want to like root into and circle into is that like the journey of finding yourself when you do know who you are very aware of like the stories that have once kept you controlled, right? And like my story of like needing to control my partner and change my partner and make my partner different, I feel like that was all because I didn't really know myself fully. And when you know yourself fully, like you said, you're more comfortable with who you are. You make other people more comfortable because you're in a state of acceptance, and that acceptance is mirroring out into the dynamics you have with other people. So, yeah, on that note, maybe we should talk about acceptance. Um, one of the questions that came through, I can actually read it on my phone. It was a really good question. How did Matt cope with your rock bottoms and how did it affect him? How did he manage having you leave Sedona, getting off mental health medications, going through surgeries, etc.? Also, how he supported you during those times. This person wants us to talk about that. So, how did you cope during my rock bottoms? Could we want to talk about that? What's it like to have a partner who's so emotionally unstable? Like,
Fucking draining is what it is.
that's really what the question said. But it's like, I was women, we're really emotionally wild. We're wild beings. And when we're healing, it makes it even more intense.
Maybe, I don't know, but it's fucking draining.
Yeah, I don't like that you're using present tense language. I feel like we should talk about that. But
I think we should talk about why you don't like that.
okay, so let's talk about it. Emotionally supporting your partner. Can you tell me like what you've learned or, you know, yeah, just share like what comes up for you on this question.
It's it's
Supporting.
it's it's draining. I mean, I don't know how else you would describe it.
Yeah.
Like there's a phrase, I'm gonna get the phrase wrong, but like when you're in a partnership, you both can't be sick at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
right? Someone has to be there to take care of the other person. And now you could say, oh, well, you could both be sick, but when we're at rock bottoms, we're not like physically sick, like we're mentally sick, right? We'll do weird things that are out of character and everything. And if both people are experiencing that at the same time, like with that, so someone has to be able to be the rock, maintain a steady pace and everything. And that's very draining,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, it's not a secret. We've talked about it. Like it's exhausting, because like from my perspective, right, I don't want to don't move. I don't want to rock the boat and like be like, "Hey, darling, you're driving me batshit. I need you to slow down." Like that's just going to exasperate everything. It's not going to help anyone. It's not going to do any good. And so it's really tough to try to hold that space, especially for extended periods of time. Like it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way around it. There's no sugarcoating it. Um, and like, does it get easier? No. No, no, it doesn't. Not from an emotional perspective. It does certainly doesn't get easier. Like, are there certain like tricks like you learn and stuff? Like, yeah, there's different things that like I do. Um, always make sure you're eating, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's certain things that like I'll really stay on top of because they'll like kind of dull the edge a
Yeah.
little bit. But and the problem is it's your journey to go through. And I can't speed it up. I can't slow it down. I'm just kind of you're like a passenger, right? It's like you're in a car, but you're driving and I'm watching you speed through traffic and I'm sitting there like, okay.
Mm,
Like it's an uncomfortable feeling.
yeah, when maybe we should be open about like these experiences because they're very related for me. Like I have a very hard time regulating my nervous system through expansion seasons, and there are these moments for me where like everything just gets very overwhelming and I'm holding a lot and there are a lot of dramas manifesting in my field, right? And then that alters what I'm thinking about and what I'm feeling in my body. And my body gets very inflamed and my energy gets very shifty and I get very sensitive. And, you know, I think it's really important to normalize that in this conversation because there are a lot of people on Instagram that broadcast their expertise in nervous system regulation, and you see them and you think to yourself, like, whoa, this person is so spiritual, they're so grounded, they have it all figured out. But part of being in a relationship is holding each other through these waves and these challenges and these expansion processes, and it isn't always easy. So I think the fact that we get to talk about it is really good. Like, hey, I lose my shit sometimes. I get cracked out Capricorn. That's what I like to call it. Cracked out Capricorn, for any of you guys who don't know, is when your Capricorn frequency, which is your achievement frequency, you climb a mountain like a goat, it gets cracked out. And basically all you're doing is hustling and going and getting and trying to make things happen and pushing. And you said something about business the other day that really softened me on that point. You said, we shouldn't be trying to create things to make them blow up, to make them explode. We should be making things that we want to create. And if it blows up, it blows up. And I loved that reminder. You've really softened me. I would think, and this is why people hate masculine energy in business. You would think that masculine structure and planning and systems actually makes you feel forced or pushed or constrained, but it has allowed me a safety. It's allowed me such an exhale. And thank you for that. It's like really
You're welcome.
special. You jerk. You wanted to share a little bit about what you do in the business? Because that was also a question that came through in the form.
Yeah, I mean, I never answer particularly well.
No, you don't.
So, I do all the things behind the scenes, essentially. The boring business stuff that nobody wants to do. So I do manage the team, large projects type stuff. I collect all the data, I do projections with it. All the data analysis that we get with it, I do now includes social media stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I analyze our social media content and kind of orchestrate plans around that. I don't know, it's so weird.
Matt's a project manager for us. He puts us through these very specific processes that have changed my life as an entrepreneur. The problem priority matrix, VSAs and VSDs, the lessons learned. I know I mentioned these on our last class, but like, you know, having systems in the business and organization, it is so important to a regulated nervous system. It's like if you were running a household and you didn't have organization, you'd feel so overwhelmed in that house. And business is kind of the same way.
Yeah,
What
I mean it's funny. So like comparing it to what households, like
Mhm.
one of the great things that we'll call it structure, but like a financial awareness is how much money you're expecting to come in and how much money you're expecting to go out, which most people don't in this industry. Most people don't really have an inkling.
in this
Yeah,
industry, no, they're just trying to make a buck.
right. They don't anticipate what value X thing could be, and they don't apply a price to the cost of such things. But if this was a household, could you imagine going grocery shopping and saying, I have no idea what the cost of anything is. I'm just going to take it.
Mm,
And then when I get to the counter, hope for the best that I can afford it. And if I can't afford it, I don't know how to cook when I get home. So
mm.
let's just hope that these ingredients work. Like I feel like that's
That's
what
how people run businesses online.
I feel like
Yeah.
that's like a very real comparison.
Well,
Like
what do you hate about this industry?
everything. It's everything.
Can you list it out for like the listeners? Let's talk. I love when you talk about this. It's so good.
I mean, there's so many things. So the online industry, almost any online industry, but I'll talk specifically a very small business online industry, is so disconnected from reality. It's very concerning to me,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like everyone preaches that they have like this new type of business strategy thing that goes on and yada yada yada. But they don't.
No.
Okay. I mean, maybe someone does every once in a blue moon, but like all the big companies, not even really big companies, but just profitable companies, they all do the same thing. You do not need to reinvent the wheel here.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime someone's pitching a reinvention of the wheel, I'm immediately like bullshit,
Mm.
right? Everyone talks about their revenue as if it's their income. Bullshit. Everyone is so interested in how many employees they have. Bullshit. It's a terrible measure of how successful your business is. It's a horrible measure, right? Like I hate that. I hate the posturing people do around it.
Posturing, yeah. Tell me about that?
So like
It's so good.
when I say posturing, it's like I mean, for being honest, you do it too, and it drives me
I know.
nuts.
I have to work on that.
It's the look at how great I am, and this is why you should follow me.
I
Like,
know. Mm.
I'm a big believer that if you do a good job, the money will come. So just do a good job. And then people will be like, yo, that was awesome. You should go try that.
Mm.
Right. And like, that's how it should go. If you have to convince people that you're awesome, maybe you're not that great.
Well, that's the issue with the online space is that there's a lot of masking and a lot of performance, right? And so we're using, I think it's a vicious cycle because what happens is we get into this industry because we're so inspired by people who are doing that.
Yeah.
Right? People who are masking, people who are performing, and we go, wow, she's so beautiful. She's so smart. Oh my God, she just made $1 million. Look at her magical life. Look at all the great things she's doing. I want that. Let me do it too. And then that person who's inspired starts to get into that same paradigm of performance and masking. And it's not sustainable.
Well, it's not sustainable for so many reasons. So one, the industry is incestuous,
It's incestuous.
right?
Hmm.
Everyone in the industry is buying and selling stuffs to people within the same industry.
Yes.
Like, imagine if GM started buying cars from Ford and Ford started buying cars from GM.
Yeah.
Like, and that's just all that they did. Like, that's
Hmm.
sort of how the industry is.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's coming out of it, but that's a large part of it. Like, everyone knows someone who's bought someone's program and then they have bought so and so's program. Like, it's a circle.
Yeah.
It's like all the money flows in a circle and it's flowing in that circle. And I mean, I don't know, maybe we have to cut this out or something, but it's flowing in that circle because 99% of what people are selling is bullshit
Hmm.
and it doesn't work. It works in this circle. And people like being told that you do this one thing and X, Y, and Z will happen, but it's not true. There's no quick fix to success. There's no quick fix, and anyone pitching it, I'm sorry, they're full of shit.
Yeah.
Like there's some things that could make things quicker, but
Well,
like there's no quick fix, and but that's what people really want to hear, and so that's what people sell.
yeah, and I think from my perspective, I mean, I've definitely evolved in and out of this over the years, and I've come into like a more integrated approach with like leadership and empowerment and how do you communicate that in a healthy way, right? I think what I've come to realize is that if I'm trying to be this performative version of myself, I am already setting my expectations too high on who I'm supposed to be. And I think that ultimately creates this feeling of inauthenticity and heaviness. It's exhausting trying to be so perfect and professional. It's
It's,
tiring. It's fucking tiring. And then this was really a kicker for me. You get into environments with people who are doing that online and you're so excited to meet them. And then you're like, wait a minute, you're not actually the person that you've been portraying on the internet. Like, and that's really disappointing. And so I think on both sides, like we have this radical responsibility to be very real and very authentic and honest. And I think you do a very good job of like steering us in that direction in many ways.
Yeah, in some regards, sure.
In some regards,
Yeah.
I think in a lot.
Mm.
I think in a lot of ways. Like you're always really calling me out. And that was also a question too that I think is appropriate to bring up here. I've been kind of keeping track of the questions as we're going. Would love to hear your thoughts on communicating at the same level. So, communication. Can we talk about our journey with communication and how that has been, especially running a business together and making business
Yeah.
decisions together? I would love to hear from you first before I share.
Okay, so are we like starting from the beginning or
Maybe just whatever feels alive for you. Communicating at the same level. How do you do that?
so communicating at the same level from a business perspective, I'll say largely cannot happen.
Mm,
All right. And I say that because someone has to make a decision. And it can't always be two people because that's two votes. One person wants something, one person doesn't want something. That will not work.
yeah.
Right. So I have the ability to say, no, I'm putting my foot down. And that's the end of
And
it.
that's what we've agreed upon in
We've
our
we
dynamic.
agreed upon it.
We agreed upon that. Yeah.
There's also, I would say, very few times where I really have ever put my foot down. Like it's really just there so that a decision can be made. Someone has to make a decision,
Hmm.
right? And so when it comes to like communicating on each other's level, it's just communicating with the fact that there's things that Lauren gets to do that I have no say over also,
Yes.
right?
My
Her
creativity,
cre
how I express myself,
Yep.
the courses I create,
Yep.
like he has no agency over
Yeah, I
that.
have no agency over it. I could give an opinion and Lauren can take it or leave it. Um, and at the end of the day, whatever she decides, I have to say, okay, you
Hmm.
know. And so that is how we speak to each other at our level is we have to go in there knowing one of us has the final say on this, and that has to be okay.
Yeah.
Like that has to be okay. And it also means that both of us don't always get what we want all the time. And that
No.
also has to be okay.
Yeah. And
Doesn't make it easy.
you know, this really equates to like just like a deeper conversation too, because we are business partners. We both work from home. We're married. We run a household together, right? There's a lot of co-creation existing between the two of us. And that means that communication is so important because there's so much co-creation existing between us. And so we weren't 100% great on this in the beginning. There was a lot of like projections and triggers and frustrations and, you know, your nervous system's dysregulated. Now it's dysregulating my nervous system and you were triggered, but now I'm triggered and you didn't say anything and that's not what you meant and you meant this. And we would get into these conversations that I used to refer to as the twilight zone, where we're like, what is happening? What are we talking about? What are we doing here? And these big communication breakdowns that would manifest were because we were both in these patterns of fight or flight frequency, right? And there was no real established safety to understand that we were actually on the same team. And that is just at core essence something that I had to heal really deeply. Like my partner is on the same team as me. He's my ally. He wants what's best for me. He's not trying to hurt me, control me, or keep me small. That's all a projection. He actually just wants me to thrive. And he's going to do things that are going to make me feel like he's controlling me. But really, actually, it's just protecting me and trying to keep me safe and making sure I'm okay. Like, making sure I'm eating enough or making sure that I'm saying no to staying on extra calls or protecting my boundaries. Like, those things years ago, I would look at them and be like, oh, you're just trying to keep me small. But now I have this level of maturity about me where I'm like, oh, you knew better. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So like there's an element of trust also in that But when you are co-creating something with somebody, whether it's a family unit or a household or a business, you have to have agreements to understand what is somebody's responsibility and what is not, you know?
Hmm.
Like it's your responsibility to mow the lawn. It's
Uh-huh.
your responsibility to take out the recycles,
Hmm.
right? It's my task is, different. You cook dinner, I do laundry, right? Like we do have this very clearly defined dynamic within us. And sometimes I get frustrated that I have to remind you to do certain things, but that's part of your nature, right? It's part of your nature to need that from me. So why can't I just show up and say, "Hey, just a reminder,
Hmm.
there's nothing wrong with that." Um, but anyway, I'm rambling. That was just like a lot of thought I wanted to share.
Okay.
What do you have to say about all this?
Nothing.
You want to go to another question?
Sure.
You're just open. It's so cute. You're like, "Yeah, okay." Um, all right, let's do one final question. Anytime you doubted your relationship or thought it may not work, and what held you together, and how do you navigate those times?
Good. Do you want to go first?
No.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
I talked so much. It's your turn.
So anytime that I doubted our relationship, not really. So when Lauren went to Sedona, like that was fine. But it was around that time period when Lauren's just burning cash, right?
Mm,
Making zero effort to make money. And I said, I think I'm gonna go back to work. Like this is not panning out, and Lauren fought me on it. Said, you
mm-hmm.
can go back to work. We're supposed
Mm-hmm.
to be traveling together. And I was like, we have no money. How are we gonna be traveling together? Like we need to have an income here.
Yeah.
And I thought to me was never like the relationship was in trouble, but I was like, if this doesn't get back on track, like
Mm,
I'm just gonna surprise Lauren and just start packing my lunches and going to work. Like it's like I'm sorry, like this is just is what
yeah.
it is. And like that gave me a lot of stress, not because like I don't want to go back to work. I'd be okay with going back to work. I voluntarily almost went back to work at one period of time when my job was looking to potentially bring me back. And like, okay.
Mm.
But that was such a weird period of time.
Yeah, Sedona was a challenge in many different ways, and you know, taking this very long pause from my life because, for me, it always kind of takes me some time to process experiences on the other side, but leaving my life to go and live in Sedona for a year was because I was so disconnected from myself. I was hustling in my business and burning myself like a candle at both ends. I was really burnt out. I had chronic illness and I was soul searching to try to heal trauma that I felt like was still running my life and my nervous system and my conscious mind. So, I took this really long pause, but I didn't take it responsibly. I took it very recklessly. Like,
Yeah.
let's just get a second house and no big deal. And let's just spend hundreds of thousands of dollars out of the bank, no issue, and not work and not worry about making money. And I really took this very big leap leaning into this experience, not really recognizing the implications it would have or the consequences it would have on our financial circumstances. I was just kind of like, whatever, I don't give a shit, and I don't regret that because I think it really allowed me to feel very liberated and it provided me a great experience that was a once in a lifetime experience that I will never get again. And I'm so grateful. And also, it was one of those things that there were a lot of consequences. There were a lot of financial consequences, a lot of emotional consequences coming back into my life and realizing, whoa, I drained my entire bank account and we have huge credit card bills that have racked up and I don't have a business to stand on because I took a year-long pause and I have no idea what I am about or what I should do. And I had to go through this whole period of like rebirthing myself. So I think it was a really beautiful thing. And I do think it was one of the hardest times that we experienced, not so much Sedona itself, but coming back and trying to navigate a business, you know,
Yeah, it wasn't really Valley Rest Sedona. Valley Rest
no.
Sedona, I was having a great time.
Yeah, we both kind of took this pause
Yeah, it
to
was really fun actually.
it was really nice. Yeah, we had a great experience being independent from one another and learning who we are and exploring like ourselves and our connection to self. I think that's something that, I really feel like if I look back on my life, I got this 1 year of time in my life to just be with me as an adult. And I've never had that. And I might not get that again, in my human experience. So yeah, it was a really beautiful blessing to have that moment. Yeah, for me, I did go through a very long period of doubting our marriage. You know that we've had
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
it's very obvious. And it was because of everything we started this podcast with, right? Like feeling like he's not doing ayahuasca with me. He's not living in this world. He doesn't want to do plant medicine and doesn't want to like go work on himself in this way that I am doing. And that was really all bullshit. Like when I really look at it, I'm like, girl, you're so dumb. You're so cute. Like that's how I see it. Like, oh, you're so dumb. You're so cute. Like you didn't really know why you were behaving that way. I didn't know. I thought it was because I wanted you to be like me, but it was because I wasn't comfortable being me,
Mm.
And so that was all really good lesson. But yeah, I did have a long period of doubt and contemplation through that time. And now it's over, so that's great. We got,
Yeah.
we got through it. Yeah, we got through it. And I also think it's really healthy to question things. I feel like that's what Sonny says to me sometimes when I'm questioning stuff about the medicine path. He's like, "Oh, you're questioning now," like, but in a playful way. Like, it's good to question. I think it's good to question.
Oh, it's always good. I think you should question everything.
Yeah, question everything. And on that note, we can do one more if you really want to.
It's up to you.
Yeah, let's do. How do you find balance when it comes to planning, and how do you each view life/plan for the future? Hmm, I like this. How do you find balance when it comes to planning? Um, well, like planning shouldn't control you. I think that's how I feel. Planning should feel like it's creating safety, it's creating support, it's creating a a feeling of exhaling. I feel like that's what planning does for me, seeing it in right relation. I think that planning for the future is really great, and being in the moment is also really important too.
Hmm.
So you can plan, but are you being present with what is now? That's what I think when I hear that question. What do you think about?
I don't know. Are we looking at it under the context of like business?
I guess both, but business is a good context to look at for sure.
Okay. So like from a business perspective is you could do as little or more planning as you want, and you could plan to be spontaneous. This is the thing that I think is very funny when people are like, I don't like the structure, I like to be spontaneous. Well, being spontaneous is your structure.
Yeah.
Like you've just decided that that's your structure,
Yeah.
and you're just pretending that it's not a
Hmm.
thing. But like you've decided to be spontaneous, that's your structure. It is what it is. When I think of planning, like how do you balance it from a business perspective is you can't until you know how long things take. And then once you do, you could plan spontaneity within
Hmm.
your work day, your work week, your work year, whatever it is. And I think most people just lack that knowledge of how long things actually take. And so planning is always a catastrophe. But once you know that and you could plan around it, you could plan spontaneity
Mm.
and stuff. And it's a great balancing act. It all comes back to this horrible structure monster where like it's important to know these things because they're very supportive.
They're very supportive. Like I can, like me for example, it's November and December, I have total freedom, right? Like I don't really have to worry about launching or selling or doing anything. I'm on vacation, so I can create how I want to create. I can offer what I want to offer and be spontaneous. And I always have, you know, I would say probably like 4 months out of the year we carve out for that flexibility and that variety. And that's because we have structure in place. So, on that note, there is something that we're just going to mention and close for this podcast for all of y'all listening. The mentorship is open for enrollment. The mentorship, just so you guys understand, is an application-based experience where we are hand holding together entrepreneurs who are at a crossroads of wanting to go into a deeper level of their purpose and their impact and their revenue. And so, what we're doing is we're taking women who doesn't matter what your income level is, you could be making nothing. We're picking the people who feel most aligned to us, and we're helping them from start to finish in a sacred container with structure, with systems, with online messaging, with authentic branding, with a way in which to express yourself that feels resonant, and to really walk away from that vision with a model and a plan, I think is one of the most beautiful things that I've offered in my entire entrepreneurial career because we're hand holding on a personal level in a custom way. So, if that is something that you're interested in and you're listening to this podcast and you would like that opportunity, the application is in my Instagram bio. It is the mentorship. You can simply fill that out, and we are going to be screening and responding to applicants over the next few weeks. So, this is the perfect time to do that. Do you want to say anything about that, or you feel good?
No, I feel good. I mean, I'm excited about it. I mean, the thing that makes it unique and different is it's not a canned process.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's experience is going to be unique in it. Is if you are coming looking for something, it's probably going to be there
Yeah.
because it's like it's not canned. It's not, hey, I have this new secret sauce. Take this and everything will be okay. It'll be okay. Where are you?
Mm,
Okay, this is probably what we should do to get you to here. Let's get you into there, set your foundation, right? Like
yeah.
I feel like it's a um very unique offer. I
Yeah.
don't think that that's anyone else is really doing that.
I'm really excited about it, and we look forward to seeing who fills out an application. And I really just want to say before we close, I really enjoyed this podcast episode with you. So
Hmm,
super fun. We might do a part
cool.
two. If you guys have any questions, let us know. DM us on Instagram. Tell me what you thought of this experience. Anything you want to share, share it with your friends, share it with us. Happy to have you guys here. And on that note, we got to take care of the dogs.
Yeah.
She's literally poking her head. You could literally see her on the
Yeah,
video.
yeah, 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 yeah.
She's like, "Come on,
Stay,
it's time." Okay, goodbye, everybody. Thanks for being here. We love you lots. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you on an episode real soon.